Okay. You wanna do a countdown, Ev?
Hell
You're
yeah.
kind of the countdown man.
I am the countdown master. All
Yeah.
right. Count of three. We'll start. Three, two, one, action.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and thank you for making time for the boys today. I'm Zach here with my co-host Evan, and
So,
Ev, how you doing? You doing good?
I'm doing splendid
Doing
tonight.
splendid? Yeah.
Yes, I'm doing
Yeah.
splendidly.
Well, that's good. That's good. So this is our inaugural episode. It's a pretty big deal. You know, big
We're gonna
things
try
on the
to
horizon.
we're gonna try to make it all the way to 100. That's the plan.
100 views.
No, no, 100 episodes, Zach.
Okay,
We're gonna
okay.
make this the biggest podcast ever. Mark it here. I waited till we started recording. Mark it here. This is where it begins.
I'm putting it down in the history books.
Yeah,
Well, I'm like sometime in the future they're gonna like find my remains, and I'm just gonna like be clutching something, and it's just gonna be a piece of paper that says the start date of the Making Time for the Boys podcast.
and then they'll pick it up and they'll be like, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah, they'll be like, what's the
Wait.
significance of this? Come on. I maybe I'll leave it as like a treasure map, like
Yeah,
my kids and my will. It'll be like here's what you have to go to find my greatest treasure, and they find this ancient chest and open it up, and it's just a piece of paper. Just
it
says that.
says that's what it says. That's the ultimate.
Yeah, that's
Well,
it.
dude, dude, that'd be touching though, because that means in the end you're still making time for the boys.
Exactly. See, listen. Even in death, I'll be making time for the boys. No,
Exactly.
you know, I as you know, as we've talked about before tonight, I recently pre-ordered the new Mario game, the 3D All Stars, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna pick that up soon as well. Is that
Um,
only out for 6 months?
right. So I think that its current plan for Nintendo is that it's going to be a limited release, and they're
Did they ever explain
doing
why that is?
no, not really, or
That's
well, at least not that I've read.
we need to be like the Joe Rogan podcast, where we have like we can just say Jamie, look that
Yeah,
up.
yo,
What's that all
yo,
about?
Padre, you know,
Padre?
Padre.
Our Puerto Rican slave will look up. Padre sounds Puerto Rican, right?
I don't know. Maybe you were just racist just now, and that
That's
is
true.
quite a way to start out your reputation here on the
I know, I
podcast.
know, I know. Already, we're gonna get dislikes because of my
Yeah.
racist nature.
Um, but it is weird that Nintendo would do probably what is going to be seen as one of their biggest releases of all time for a limited window. But
Hmm.
I think it might be a good business move because if
Really?
it's just for a limited window, then it's gonna really push people to buy it.
Oh yeah, yeah, certainly. But
But
like,
I might have made the wrong move. I bought it digitally instead of getting the nice case.
did you need the nice? How nice is this case?
I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's like when you buy a one of those like steel cover,
Yeah, yeah. Well, because I got it for Persona 5.
right? And
The
like I
playlist.
have, I think two Yakuza games that are like steel
Oh,
case.
really?
Yeah, but getting that 3D All Stars kind of leads me to what I think a lot of people would see as kind of a controversial take when it comes to the Mario games,
Okay.
and it's
All right.
that I think, in my own opinion, Super Mario
They're all shit.
Odyssey might be the best 3D Mario game.
Mm. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
That's an opinion.
it might be a bold claim because listen, I get it that Super Mario Galaxy is like
Pretty.
easily one of the best Nintendo games
It's
of all
pretty
time.
fucking top tier. Not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
and it's actually the main reason I even bought 3D All Stars was just so I could replay Galaxy again.
Yeah.
Um, and I should, be honest and say I've never played um, Sunshine, but I've watched playthroughs of Sunshine, which I know isn't like the same thing, but
But you do kind of it what does give you a lot of info on like what gameplay is like, and
right, and especially when it's like I watched Chugga Conroy's
that's he's pretty in
walkthrough.
depth. He's
Yeah,
pretty in depth.
so like I kind of I know what I'm getting into with the
Right,
game.
right, right.
Um, but I don't know. I think there was just something about Odyssey that was so endearing to me.
Was it when you say endearing, so like you like it more because it was just like you like the atmosphere, like the aesthetic or gameplay?
Maybe it's
Or
that I like it's because the hat mechanic is so unique, you know?
where you possess people.
Right, right. Which is kind of one of the weirder things they could let Mario do
Yeah,
because
they do
there's
let Mario do
already
a lot of weird things though.
right. Well, because there's already so many like the theories about like how Mario's actually like kind of uh was
A
it like
sociopath.
insane? Yeah,
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 I've seen a lot of
sociopath.
those.
And
I've seen,
him,
like I think one video was he's playing like tennis with Luigi, and he just destroys him, and
yeah,
then he's
well, he steps on his foot, right?
yeah he steps on his foot. That's what I was gonna say. Like he's like a sociopath.
And then it's like we're just going to give him the ability to control anyone he wants. He doesn't have to worry about just getting a baked cake from Peach anymore because he can just toss the hat.
Mario Odyssey's secret ending is that Mario takes over the president and starts his tyrannical new world order.
Oh, that's
Launches
that's the
launch
DLC, right?
right. Pay $15 and you can launch nukes at Bowser's Kingdom.
Yeah, but it's and I should also say I've never played 3D World, which I know is also
Uh,
getting a Switch port,
yeah, I
but
haven't either. I've heard people like that a lot though.
yeah, it just looked okay to me because I think when it comes to the Mario games as a whole, like the whole platforming formula for me is just okay. Like
Right. Well, it's like the formula. If we're talking about like the mechanics of it's really good. I do, but it needs to be, of course, supplemented by like level design.
right,
And I have to maybe my I just need to play 3D World, but the 3D World level design does seem it's a bit I don't know. It's not as I don't want to say simplistic, but it doesn't really grab me as like maybe in Mario Galaxy where you
right.
have these really interesting planets that it's just fun to go around in, and then also has like really good platforming sections. 3D World seems to, and I have played 3D Land. I think that was on a 3DS. So I do. I'm assuming they're probably quite a bit similar.
Hmm.
Uh, in those games, though, the worlds themselves aren't that interesting, if that's the right word to use.
I know what you mean. I think there's just like when I hear 3D Mario game, I have a higher expectation. You
Right. Well, it
know,
just seems like the focus on there was like pure platform, pure like
right,
just jumping around, getting through these levels. While with
right.
in Mario Galaxy, Sunshine, and Odyssey, there's a bit more of a focus on like the world itself
Hmm.
being something you'd want to just explore.
Exactly. And I don't know. I think because like I have new Super Mario Bros. U,
Hmm.
and it's I think there's just something about the pure platformers that maybe as I've gotten older, that they've just kind of lost their novelty.
Right. Well, because that's essentially what 3D Land and World is. It's basically because the Mario Bros. Games, except 3D this time, because those games are exactly the same sort of focus.
Right.
You're just jumping around and stuff, and people like that a lot. And that's fine.
I
I
mean,
would agree
they're
that's not necessarily my thing. I need a bit
right.
more supplemented with the environment.
They're good like what I would label time waster games. It's easy to sit down, play it for a while, and then just put it down. You know.
Sure. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes that's what you need, which is the whole reason I have New Super Mario Bros. U, because it's something that's easy for me to just be like, I'm going to take a couple hours today and just relax and play some Mario.
They are relaxing. Those games are great at just helping you chill out. Sunshine, I emulated Sunshine on my computer, and that is a super relaxing game to play. 'Cause it's so chill.
Hmm.
It actually feels like you're on a vacation.
I'm excited for that for the soundtracks
Yeah,
alone, because I might go as far as to say that of the Nintendo musical selection, which is full of amazing like musical pieces, Galaxy might be the one that I feel like is the best, and it's
I'd
just
agree
because
with
it's
that.
the one that I keep going back to.
I agree with that. Galaxy soundtrack is great because it just has the it has those tracks that just make you feel like, ah, yeah, I'm in an adventure right now. I'm having
Right.
fun.
Well, every time I
Lines
hear
of this.
the Gusty Garden Galaxy
Yes, yeah.
music, I'm in it immediately.
Did you play the second game, Mario
No,
Galaxy 2?
um,
Really?
I've and I was gonna watch a playthrough of it, and I couldn't really bring myself to do that either. And I think it's because the kind of the overwhelming opinion from a good amount of people seems to be that it's just like Super Mario Galaxy 1.
Yeah.
And there's not really a problem with that because
No.
of how
Let's have
fun Super
Yoshi.
Mario Galaxy
Let's
is.
have Yoshi this time. I mean, it's a fun game. Uh, though I don't know if I could even really choose which one is better. I think I prefer the first one, just some pure like nostalgia.
Right.
But the second game is really solid, I'd say.
And I think what kind of proves that in the grand scheme of things, Galaxy 2 isn't like super important to have played is the fact that they're not porting it as well.
Right. Well, that's I was talking to a friend who like 'cause we are talking about this as well, and they were like confused at like their pet because they're basically they're so similar they might as well be the same games.
Right.
It was very odd to them that they didn't port it along with these other ones, and I guess it's because they just doesn't because these seems like they're supposed to be games that are like classics, quote
Mm-hmm.
unquote. And I guess the logic is that Mario Galaxy 2 just isn't considered that important, like you said.
Well, isn't the story of the two games even pretty much the same? Because
Oh,
because at
yeah,
the
I
end
think
of
so.
Galaxy 1, everything kind of resets.
Right. I think because Galaxy 1, the story is that Bowser is stealing stars. You got to
Right.
stop him and rebuild our ship. And I think the second game's pretty similar, actually. Here's one thing I think the first game does do better than the second game. One, I'm gonna say I think presentation. Because like
Mm-hmm.
that beginning intro level where you're just like running to the castle and like there are meteors and Bowser's like
Right.
that's kind of that's a pretty striking intro. I don't think Galaxy 2 really had that. I don't recall it at least.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also had I think I liked the overworld in the first one much better because you
Yeah.
remember Galaxy 1 you had this huge ship that you could explore. It was really cool looking. And in Galaxy 2 it's basically this small rock with your face on it. It's
Oh,
it's a lot more underwhelming. Like you can probably look it up. Uh,
right.
Mario Galaxy 2
Let me look this
home
thing
ship.
up.
Yeah, but it's like in comparison to the first game, a lot more underwhelming. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. Well, I think it's one of those things where it's like you don't want to do a complete rehash, but in
Sure,
doing that, they might have just lost a
they
little
made something.
something.
They made
Yeah,
something inferior,
I
which
see
is
it here. I mean,
it's the one where Mario's got the green hat. You
right,
see it?
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's okay.
it's
It's
cute,
not the
right? But it's
sprawling ship though that
right. What's so small? So piddly.
and I kind of wonder because my favorite thing in Super Mario Galaxy is actually to play it as Super Luigi Galaxy.
Yeah, dude, Luigi. Dude, hell yeah.
Because listen, and I don't know if you'll agree with this, but I think Luigi's the best Mario character.
No, I agree with that. Well, I don't know if I'd say best. He's out of the Mario brothers, I prefer him. Best Mario character for me is Bowser.
Hmm.
Gonna be honest.
That's an interesting take.
You think so? I
I
feel
think
like a lot of
so.
people would agree with that.
Really.
Because I think Bowser is just because he's like because the thing is with Bowser, right? He's usually and it's the same with Luigi, I think, to also an extent. Uh, because part of the reason people end up preferring Luigi over Mario is because Luigi acts like a human with
Hmm.
emotions. Like Luigi's Mansion, he can be scared and like has well Mario is just stone faced through literally
Right, right.
anything. But
He's a
people
more
relate to
dynamic character.
yeah, people end up relating a bit more to Luigi. And with Bowser though, in certain games they take that to an even larger extent. If you've ever played they had these DS games, like Mario
Bowser, like
RPG DS
Bowser's
games.
Inside Story.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
In that entire series, they gave Bowser like an actual, and Bowser's Inside Story is great,
Hmm.
because they give him an actual personality. That's
Right.
actually fun. I think they kind of even Paper Mario they do that with him.
Yeah.
They do a lot. They let themselves do more with Bowser's personality. It makes him fun. That's it. And also because I he's my favorite character to play in Smash. That also helps.
Well, because you just want to do the like, you do grab me and take me off the edge of the map move. Like that's all
I
you want to
I absolutely adore
do.
doing that.
You know, it's interesting to look at the wider variety of Mario games because you get like we have the platformers and the 3D games, which are probably they're the bigger ones, but then you get the RPG titles like what is it? It's Inside Story, which probably has one of my favorite battle themes of any game
The
ever.
final battle theme.
Yeah,
That's great. I didn't know you played that game.
I did. It was one of the last games I played on my DS before I got rid
Really?
of it. Yeah.
That's a good game to end it.
Yeah.
End it on. So great. Then they made a remake of that, right?
Did they?
Yeah, yeah. I think it was here. I'll look it up. It was Bowser's Inside Story, but then they also added Bowser Jr. into the mix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I haven't played it myself. I actually haven't heard a lot about it after they announced it.
Cuz that franchise is the same one that first introduced Baby Mario and Baby Luigi, right?
Is that where they first? No, no, no. Baby Mario was first in Yoshi's
Or
Island.
no, you're right. You're right. Yeah. But like as maybe I should say more important characters.
Right. Well, because like my first game I played with in the series was something time. I forget what it
Right.
was called.
The
That's where they were introduced.
it's like a whole trilogy of Mario games, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, because it was Superstar Saga was the first one.
Yeah.
Then they had the time one. I forget that one's name, but that was my first one, and that was actually I like that one. It was pretty fun, kind of
Hmm.
dark too, and hard. It was pretty difficult. Then they had Bowser's Inside Story, and then they had a fourth one because they did like that Year of Luigi thing,
Right,
and that's
right.
where it was like the Luigi Dream thing. And I'm gonna be honest, wasn't a huge fan. I played that one, wasn't a huge fan. I don't even think I finished it. Uh, and I think that was it. Oh no, they made a
It's
fifth one. They made a fifth one with Paper Mario crossover, I think.
the poor Paper Mario series with its highs and
Yeah,
lows.
yeah.
You know, it's getting back to this whole idea of like the wider variety of Mario games. Um, it's interesting to me how the how dark they get with the RPG titles
Hmm.
because I think Super Paper Mario specifically
Right.
has a really great and well written story that is pretty
Yeah.
dark and
That's an underrated game.
yeah, no, for sure. And maybe it's because I'm not a big fan of turn-based combat, but Super Paper Mario is my favorite of the bunch of those of
I
that series of
I
games.
can understand. I've played Super Paper Mario, so I can get that. I don't know what I'd pick because I haven't played the first one. I've played the second Thousand Year Door, which I think people generally believe is the best one.
Right.
I've also played Super Paper Mario. And then I played Sticker Star,
Which is
which
obviously your favorite. You don't have to
right,
go any
right.
farther. We know that you liked slapping the hammer sticker on everything, and it was
And
just
listen,
done.
I've heard the opinion, right? Because that like, oh, you shouldn't restrict the Paper Mario franchise if they want to do more creative things. It's like, okay, fair opinion. But if they're going to do that, I'd prefer if they made games that were good. Because I don't think Sticker Star is good at all. I did not like it, and it wasn't just because it was different. Because Super Paper Mario is also different, and I thought that was a great game.
Right. Well, I think what Super Paper Mario did right that the others struggle with is that the first two games had this very kind of strict turn-based combat, which was fine. It worked just fine. The games are fun. And then all that Super Paper Mario really did was said, we're just going to make it more like your normal Mario games, where it's just like you're jumping on things and things like that.
Right.
But it worked because it's not like they were pushing any boundaries really. And
Right.
then you get to Sticker Star Saga, which it's like they had
But you had to collect
they
like stickers to
right.
combat, and I just thought that was so annoying.
Well, they had good intentions, but I don't think it ended up being exactly maybe what they thought it would be starting
Right.
out.
Maybe I just sucked at the game, but I just thought it was kind of tedious to basically just have to collect your attacks.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
so-
Well, it's kind of the same problem with one of the Kingdom Hearts games is Chain of Memories is what it's called, and it has
yeah, you
kind of a
told me.
similar thing where as you go through the worlds and you defeat creatures, you pick up cards and you
Yeah.
use the cards for attacks, and it's like you eventually you run into a problem with those games because of the fact that like I don't think there's, unless you truly know what you're getting into before you go in, you're going to hit a wall at some point where you've used up either all your good attacks or you're tired of grinding and looking for new things.
Right.
And slowly that system of combat just saps the life out of your game.
Yeah. Well, it just makes it tedious to play.
Right.
And eventually all I think RPGs are going to face that to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
Because like grinding in order to like get your level up is something that's rather common. However, RPGs should probably be trying to mitigate that problem rather than extenuate it,
Right.
like in Chain of Memories and Sticker Star.
Now, what's your opinion of Origami King and its combat system?
Now from what I haven't seen too much about Origami because that's the newest one, right?
Right.
So Origami King, that combat is like a because that you have to like stand in the middle of this platform, right?
Right.
And then you like have to move. You have a certain number of times you can move the enemies around you, and then you choose an attack to do. Is that how that? Is
Right.
that
So
generally right?
my understanding is it's kind of like a puzzle during
Yeah,
combat where you have to line it. You want to line up the most number of enemies in a row, or like enemies in a row as you can
right.
to maximize your attacks.
Oh, they have to be the same.
Well, that will help your like. It'll give like damage modifiers. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure if they're all the same. Because I watched Critical play it, or I believe it was Critical who played a bit of it, and I think not to say that these Paper Mario games need to be hard or anything, but I think there definitely comes a point where you've made your game too easy. And that's the only worry I have about Origami King is that maybe because it's a puzzle style of battle, kind of, that they might have made it
They
too
might have.
easy in order to encourage players to keep going.
I see. I see. Well, that can be well because Sticker Star I think might have had the same issue where it wasn't
Mm,
even difficult. It was just kind of if you get the right stickers, you're good.
right,
Uh, I haven't. I don't know if I have too strong an opinion on the combat since I haven't played it. I will say it
right.
definitely doesn't. It doesn't interest me. I'm gonna
Hmm.
be honest about that. I'm not sure if I'm too interested in that sort of combat. Uh,
Yeah.
but
The Paper Mario series also has run into an interesting problem that's made pretty evident in Origami King, I think, because they're not allowed to make like new canon Mario characters, I guess, to an
what?
extent. Like there's a reason they have to use like Shy Guy, and the villains are like the bosses you fight are like staplers and stuff. It's because I read something that said Nintendo basically doesn't want the Paper Mario series making like villains again.
Why is
I
that a
don't I
thing?
don't know.
I
Like
am looking this up.
you have a successful franchise and one that's obviously loved by many. So why wouldn't you want them to work with
What?
your material?
Okay, IGN, the developers of Paper Mario have revealed that they are no longer allowed to make characters that touch on the Mario universe or modify existing Mario characters.
Yeah.
What? W- okay, so to what extent does this? Because like, are they allowed to not make any new characters at all? Like they
Well,
can't even make new enemies,
it's
or
interesting because they have new companions like in this game. Like there's a Babam companion and I think probably a Goomba. The usual assortment of companions you'd get in a Paper Mario game. But like villain wise, they have this origami king, this origami villain and an origami
oh,
helper. Um, but it's like all the
so
bosses. That's the reason you have to fight like a box of crayons and stuff
well,
like
that's
that.
why Sticker Star, because Sticker that was in Sticker Star, right? Where you had to fight. I believe that's where that was. Or was that in Origami King too?
You have to fight a box of crayons in Origami King.
What the? That's ridiculous. I'm reading it right now. This guy named I don't know if I'm gonna pronounce this right. Kensuke Tanabe.
Wow, how awful! How awful of you to
I
butcher
know,
his name.
I know. I probably was terrible. Uh, he says, I believe he's a developer. Uh, he says, since Paper Mario Sticker Star, it's no longer possible to modify Mario characters or to create original characters that touch on the Mario universe. That means if we aren't using Mario characters for bosses, we need to create original characters with designs that don't involve the Mario universe at all, like we've done with Ollie and the stationary bosses. Now that's an odd statement, like that don't
Right.
involve the Mario universe. What does that mean?
What
I'm
does that
looking up
mean? We're
Ollie.
gonna reach a point where it's like the Paper Mario games are so disconnected that maybe they get a complete rebranding.
So, okay, so that's why they're okay. It's starting to make kind of sense now, because like Ollie is just literally a folded up
Yeah.
napkin. That's all he is. And
I'm
it
waiting
makes sense of
for.
why they're
Go
what?
ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say now it makes sense why they're trying to, because usually, well, it was before it in the first three Paper Mario games, they actually had everything was just made out of paper for the most part, but now they've been trying to make it to where like, ooh, now it's kind of in the real world. Now we've
Hmm.
got staplers and cardboard and stuff because they have to sort of distance themselves.
Right.
Extremely lame.
I'm waiting for a Paper Mario WWE edition where John Cena pops up in origami form.
The secret final boss is Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
He just comes up like, "Can you smell what the Rock is cooking?" And then it's a super move on Mario.
Dude, that's I didn't know that. That's insanity,
Yeah,
considering that Paper Mario has created some fantastic characters in the past, as well as fantastic bosses and stories, and now they've been limited to such an insane extent.
yeah. It's I don't know. I think did Sticker Star was it a 3DS only release
I
or
believe
did it
so,
also okay?
because I
The,
played it on my 3DS.
yeah, that might be part of why that game probably didn't do as well because up until then the two of them were on the GameCube, and then you had the one on the Wii. Why
Yep.
not make it for the Wii U?
Well, here's the thing about that, because I don't know if it's purely because of the 3DS, but I think it's
Hmm.
also because I don't think I get the feeling they didn't market it too hard
That's
either.
true too, because I only really knew about it because I happened to see it when I was at GameStop one time, and I looked it up and saw the bad reviews, and then I think like later I ended up talking to you about it,
Yeah.
and just it's sad. It's sad that a good franchise has kind of had to distance itself and kind of lose its roots a bit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, because like Sticker Store was so, because like here's the thing about Super Paper Mario. It's on like the combat's different, right? But it still felt like, I believe, it still had that Paper Mario feeling.
Hmm.
Very vague way to put that, but you kind of get what I mean. It still felt like it was a Paper Mario game.
Right. Well, I
Uh,
think I think you look at the storytelling style of
yeah,
those three games and the feeling you get as you meet new companions and in
right.
like the interactions you have with random characters throughout the story,
Well,
and it's very in line.
even with just how in those games Mario interacted with the world itself, it felt consistent between those
Hmm.
games. And then in Sticker Star, it feels like kind of like Whiplash, where suddenly the story is not so involved. Uh, I don't believe we had a lot of characters in that game, like because usually in Paper Mario, you have an assortment of characters you meet.
Right, you
I might
assemble
be
your
wrong.
own team avatar in
Yeah,
Mario form.
yeah. uh you in Sticker Store you just had like your companion, and then
Hmm.
they also changed it to where like it was very non-linear. I believe you could kind of go anywhere from the start. I
Hmm.
might be wrong on that because I might just remember that wrong, but I do know they had this overworld thing where like very similar to what you have in Mario Bros. Wii U and whatever.
Right, right.
uh so it was like, and it all just felt very like, I'm not really sure how to put this into words, but that's when they started also like putting like this real world stuff in there, I believe. And it just
Right.
felt very like the world had sort of lost its internal consistency.
There's kind of like a certain innocence to the Mario world that was suddenly lost. Or
Right. It almost felt like
yeah,
too like kind of meta. And I was like, huh,
yeah, yeah.
kind of weird.
We don't need the fourth wall broken in that way
Right.
for our Paper Mario games.
I'm not sure if I said that correctly, but it just, the point is that it just felt different. The tone overall through these small things were vastly different.
Yeah. Another Mario game that's in that RPG format that I'm sad hasn't really had anything done with it is the Super Mario RPG game.
I have to play that still
It
because
is
like
so good.
I've got it downloaded on my computer and I have the emulator for it. I just have to actually like play it because I've heard that's like a lot of people think that's the best or Mario RPG period.
I mean, the combat, even for turn-based combat, which I'm just usually I can't stand, but that game, Persona 5, and Pokemon. I think those are like the only three games I can stand their turn-based combat
Yeah,
truly. Um, and then, of course, as with every other Mario game, the music is just top notch the whole time. Especially um, the I think it's the Lost Woods theme. I want to say that's or it's something like that. There's you go through a maze of woods, and there's a theme that plays when you meet a character, and it's just really great. Also, it's interesting that it's another moment where you can have like, you know, you Peach is going to be doing some fighting with you and things like that. Like
yeah,
you're assembling some companions like you do in Paper Mario.
right. And you even got Bowser in there as well.
Right, right.
Wasn't Bowser a playable character in Super Paper Mario?
He was. I'm almost certain he was because in
Yes,
Super
you're
Paper
absolutely right.
Mario you play as Mario, Luigi, Bowser. Do you get a section as Peach as well?
I think you actually do play as Peach. I,
Yeah.
I, I think you do. I might be wrong, but I believe you do.
I feel like it's been so long
I
since
kind of
I've
want to
played
play
the.
Super. I want to play. I kind of want to play that game again. It's been
Yeah,
years. It's been years.
because I remember like that was the last game I played on my Wii. Because man, I mistreated that console. There were a lot of really great games for the Wii that I just never got around to playing.
Dude, I just looked up Super Paper Mario characters and I just got like nostalgia whiplash. I'm looking at the screen. You remember that? You remember the chameleon character?
Yeah,
Yeah, and he goes on a
yeah.
date with Peach. Oh my God. Oh man.
I tell you,
Uh,
the I really loved the main villain of that.
right. Yeah, he was good. He was good. I think this podcast has just turned into us just fawning over Super Paper Mario.
Well, that's okay. We can sit here and love on Paper Mario all we want because you know what? He's one of the boys. We're making time for a boy right
He's
now.
making making time for one of the boys.
Yeah, okay. There's nothing wrong with making time for the boys mid podcast, okay?
So you said you mistreated your Wii.
Well, because I was the sad soul who played so much Wii Sports Resort that or Wii Sports that he decided to get Wii Sports Resort, and then I
Hmm.
basically only played that.
Oh,
I mean, I sat there and played it and watched Super Paper Mario and Mario Galaxy collect dust on my shelf.
that's disappointing
Yeah,
to hear.
I I look back on it now and I'm just disgusted with my like 11-year-old self.
This is the part where we take a time machine. We go to your house, and we're just like, you better make time for one of those boys, and then just beat the crap out of you.
Yeah, well, I don't even know what I'd say to myself at that point. Like, I think I'd take my copy of Wii Sports Resort and just break it over my knee. Just be like, you can't play this anymore. You're not allowed. You're gonna, actually, you know what? Go get Twilight Princess. Go get that game. Get
Did
into
you play
Zelda
Twilight
way
Princess?
earlier. No.
Oh,
My first ever Legend of Zelda game that I actually played was Breath of the Wild.
no, no way. That's not true. Are you
That
serious?
is true.
That's so late.
I watched a playthrough of Majora's Mask, and I
Was it Chica
love
Conroy's?
it. Was
I
so
figured.
you
He
know
has the best Majora's Mask one.
when it
Don't.
comes to playthroughs of Nintendo games, I usually go to Chugga Conroy just
Right.
because not only is he a completionist, but he's kind of like that innocent fun, you
Right.
know?
Well, he's kind of. I find him relaxing.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
watch him
he's
too much anymore, but he's a pretty calming Let's Player.
I probably haven't watched him in like 3 or 4 years. And it's
I
sad
pro-
because
Probably even longer.
he's just like like you said, he's very relaxing to just sit down and turn on and just listen to.
The last time I saw him was when I watched some of his Majora's Mask gameplay because Game Grumps made a Majora's Mask series, which was infamously pretty terrible. And
Yeah,
so I was like, he'll do it better.
you
And
know,
he did.
I thought about starting the Game Grumps playthrough of
I'm
Majora's Mask, and
greedy.
I
I
couldn't
don't
bring
know.
myself to do it because I hold Majora's Mask on such a high
Oh
standard.
yeah, you don't wanna watch that then. You'll get
Yeah.
angry. You'll get really you'll get a bit annoyed.
Well, especially because Majora's Mask has so much beautiful side content. The story alone is really great, but then you get the stuff like the innkeeper and like all that different stuff that you can find throughout the city as you reverse time and set things back to the very first day.
Yeah.
And man, I could sit and talk about how much I love that game
That you've
all
never
day.
played.
Yeah, because it's just one of those connections I've made. Like
Right, right.
when I think Legend of Zelda, the first thing that comes to my mind is probably the last fight of Majora's Mask.
Yeah. There you
Man,
fight a Skull Kid, whatever his
yeah,
name is.
because the Skull Kid stories it hits deep. It's a sad tale.
Yeah, yeah, because he was actually I don't know anything about Skull Kid. I don't even know I was
No,
gonna.
no,
No, because I haven't played Majora's Mask, man. I've seen some of Chugga's gameplay, but like that amounts to like 10 minutes.
right. Well, because he's like, well, we're gonna start the game, and I'm gonna spend the next half hour finding all the collectibles in the first area. And you're just like,
Right, right.
I mean, I'm okay with this.
Then
Yeah,
I fall asleep.
yeah, but yeah, no. Breath of the Wild was my first like true foray into what makes the
Dang.
Zelda games so great.
Well,
And
that's what it's so why that's interesting to me because Breath of the Wild's so different
well,
from all the
right.
other Zelda games.
And I'll tell you the Zelda game that makes me want to play more than anything now though is Wind Waker.
Wind Waker was the first Zelda game I fell in love with.
Mm-hmm.
That was mine.
I really love the art style of
I
Wind
do too.
Waker. That's what
I like
makes me want to play it so badly.
the art style, exploring the seven seas. There's just a lot to love about Wind Waker.
I don't know. I'm hopeful that like the next Breath of the Wild game or the its sequel is as good, if not better, than Breath of the Wild. Just
Yeah.
because now that I've started, like I'm ready for more Zelda content. And that's why I actually played Link to the Past because I have Nintendo Online.
Oh, Link to the Past. Wait. Is that the? That's not the one where he morphs into a wall, right? That's you know what I'm talking about?
No, no, I think that's the
That's the remake
the
of that game.
yeah, the remake, the recent one.
Right.
Um, no, you do still go to the Dark World though.
Oh, right.
So
So what Zelda
it's
games have you played other than Breath
just
of the Wild?
just
Just those
Breath of the
two?
Wild and Link to the Past.
Dang.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's it's the consequence of like living on PlayStation for so long.
You were a big PlayStation dude for a while.
I mean, I still am. I mean, I sit here excited about Mario 3D All Stars. I probably haven't touched my Switch since June.
Dude, listen, at least you like at least you played your Switch a lot. How many games I have for my Switch? I want you to guess.
You probably have like two.
Oh my God, you got it right in one.
Yeah,
I have Monster Hunter, and I have the Ace Attorney trilogy because of course I'm gonna get that
yeah, yeah.
classic series.
I tried really hard with Monster Hunter, Evan. I
I
really
know you
did give
got
it
it.
my best shot, and I just kind of dropped
It's
off.
it's it's not for everyone. And it's
Yeah,
also it's got a lot. If you, it's like you're either into it or you're not. That's understandable.
yeah. I'm a real gamer. I want to pick up Madden and play that. Okay.
Don't even say that. Yeah, pick up Madden for the 50th time and let them just suck all the money out of your
Yeah,
pocket.
I'll let EA, ram me into the wall one more time. It's okay. I mean,
God.
I can't help it. I'm literally like a drug addict.
You are an addict. We
It's
gotta
like
get you to rehab.
I don't have the new Madden yet. Whew.
Well,
Wow.
listen, dude. I mean, you got to get the new. What's that new mode called? Ultimate Players. Ultimate.
Their new face of
The
the
mobile game.
franchise. Oh,
The mobile game they added to their $60 game.
listen, Ultimate Team is the bane of Madden's existence. I know I've talked to you about it before,
You have.
but like, listen, I don't want to pay $60 for a game and then load up one of their supposedly fun game modes and immediately get destroyed by a man who decided to pay an extra $120 so he could have a 99 overall team. Okay?
That's the fun of the game.
Legitimately, I want you to imagine that there's a little baby sitting in front of you, right? That's my 70 overall football team that I just got for joining Ultimate Team. He has like really nice eyes, and that's the quarterback that they gave me for free. That's really good, right? And
Mhm.
now imagine like The Rock himself walks in and just punches that baby as hard as he can. The Rock is the guy who paid $120. I mean, that baby's dead. I'm dead. My team, they're gone.
Yeah, but that's good game design.
You're right. And you know what? EA found a cash cow, and I can't blame them for using it as much as they can.
I
The
can. I will always blame them for that. Are you
well,
serious? Have some restraint for your greed. That's what I
well,
have to say
and
about that.
that's why it's a good thing that all the Madden fans are collectively revolting
Right,
with
right. They'll revolt until next year when they buy the
right.
game
Well,
again.
you
That's
know,
what's always going to happen. Until that, you
let me
literally
state
have to
this
wait a year.
opinion now that will I get the next Madden? There's like a 99.9999 repeating percent
Oh,
chance that I'm going to get it, but
no,
I'm going to tell myself that it's going to be better
it's
because all the
not.
fans are asking for it to be better.
Okay. Are you serious with me right now? Are you being 100% real when you say that?
That I'm going to probably end up with it.
And that you think it's going to get better
Do
because
I?
the fans
Okay,
ask
here's
for
the
it?
thing. Do I think it will truly get better? No. I don't
Then
believe
don't
that
buy
because
it.
I know how EA is. I know. Well,
Zach, if you want it to be better, do not buy the game. This is your intervention. This
yeah,
has now
this is.
changed.
I just heard a knock on the door. Sorry, I gotta, gotta head out on that one.
Sorry, my mom's calling me. I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, sorry. I was told it's my bedtime now. So I gotta hit the hay after that one. Yeah, no, you're probably right. I shouldn't. I shouldn't.
but then you'll get the shakes, and then
Well, exactly. They'll walk into my room and they'll be like, "Oh my God, what's wrong with Zach? Is he, is he sick? Does he have a fever? Oh, he's just going through withdrawals. What, did he get addicted to something? Oh, he just doesn't have the new Madden.
yeah,
Just common
he
problems."
can't live without EA trying to pry the money from his wallet.
Yeah. Well, at least I'm sane enough to not be buying both Madden and Call of Duty. At least I'm just putting one horse in the race and not two.
Is that a common thing,
Well,
Madden players?
think about it. You look at the group of people who are probably playing Madden, and you look at the group of people who are probably playing Call of Duty. There's probably overlap there. Now,
I mean,
maybe I'm generalizing a little too
well,
much.
they're
Maybe some Call of
wildly
Duty
popular
players
then.
are like hitting their fist against their palms and doxing me right now. You know,
How dare you say it by Madden?
yeah.
That's an insult worse than anything.
But it's criticizing buying Madden every year is exactly the same as criticizing people for buying Call of Duty every year. The only plus side Call of Duty has going for it, though, is that quite truly it did get better.
Well,
This
that's
this
why
past year, Modern
I'm not
Warfare was a really great Call of Duty game.
I'm not sure if I'd equate the two exactly, because like EA, the reason EA's Madden is so singular is because of how insidious the microtransaction aspect to it is, and the pay to win sort of part of it.
Right.
I don't know if Call of Duty tried to implement loot boxes and whatever, but I don't know if it was. I don't recall it being that bad.
Well, I think if you remove
I just think it
Modern
was.
Warfare from the equation, then you
Yeah,
look at just a track record of like increasingly bad Call of Duties up to Modern Warfare, and then suddenly they're like, okay, wait, here's a good one, and
yeah.
that's the problem with Madden is, and because I've been doing research on this because I want to make a video on it, right? So you can track when Madden started going in a bad way
Hmm.
to 2009, right? Because you look at Madden 10, and it's the first Madden game to have Ultimate Team.
Hmm.
And,
That's when they
they're
started testing the
like,
waters.
right, they're like, oh boy, look at this new feature, cards, build a team. And you're like, oh boy, I can put Peyton Manning on the Steelers. Wow. And it's like, okay, good job, Madden,
It's like
whatever.
heresy.
And, I think at the time, because of the way like a lot of people were, because today you can point at things like Fortnite and be like, oh, see, this is why you shouldn't give little kids the money to get their V-bucks because it's a waste. But back then it was just like, oh, I can have fun putting my players on teams, give me money for Madden contracts or whatever.
Hmm.
But then you jump to 2013, and the thing that kept bringing me back to Madden, the superstar mode, which is where you have your own player. That's when they took that away, and the connected franchise mode kind of absorbed that and made it like a bare bones, poor man's version of it.
Hmm.
And then just slowly they've been incrementing the number of things they remove, because like a cool feature they had in like 2013 and 2014's Madden is this thing called the GMC Never Say Never moments. And what it was you would get in that and it would have highlights from the previous season from games like, oh, the Steelers had this crazy fourth quarter comeback where they got an interception and then led a game winning drive. We're going to put you in control of that moment and you need to recreate it. And that's
Oh,
like awesome.
yeah.
I'm reliving something I'm connected with because I watched it. And it's cool to relive that moment, but with you at the helm. And then they got rid of that. They were just like, "Oh, you like that? I'm taking that away. Stealing candy from a baby. Here, take more Ultimate Team. Boom."
So they started taking away features so that way they
Right.
could focus more because like the more features they'd add, the more time that would take away from them developing Ultimate Team. as well as
Exactly.
probably would be distracting players. Because if you keep those features, because even if you do are able to keep those features in while still developing Ultimate Team, you'd
Hmm.
still risk players not playing Ultimate Team because you have all those other features.
And that's why I think the worst Madden in recent memory is Madden 17. Because 17 had the connected franchise mode was the bare bones thing we'd had for like 6 years up to that point.
Mhm.
Ultimate Team was heavily stressed for you to play. And then they had like the play now mode, which was just like single player fun, what every Madden is expected to have, right?
Right.
And then they're like, oh, people are hating on us hard. So in Madden 7 or Madden 18, here, have a story mode. It's a here. I crafted it myself out of mud. Take this mud pie. And you're like, and me, the addicted Madden player I am, I was like, oh yeah, give me that. That's a well baked cake there. And I set it down next to me, let it ruin my shelf of games. And let me tell you, Madden 18, 19, 20, and 21 have all had their story mode things. Every single one of them has been trash.
Seriously?
And here's
Not
what's
one good
trash
one?
about them is that the stories are completely laughable
Oh,
because when Madden 18 came out, they had their story mode, which they put in the first place because the NBA 2K games, which while still being scummy sports games, are you know a lot better than Madden simply because they have Spike Lee write stories for their like they get an accomplished writer and director to write stories for their career mode. You
okay.
go through them and they add in interactions between you and other players in the
That's
league
neat.
and things like that. Like it's a much more complete experience.
Right. Doesn't
And
feel like
Madden,
something that's just been tacked on,
right, right.
like an actual feature.
And Madden was like, "Oh, people like that. Well, we're just gonna copy that. That's okay." So at the time there was this Netflix series called Last Chance U that was pretty popular. It's just like, oh, you didn't do well in college or make the NFL, so here we're gonna fast track you through some combine drills and you'll make the NFL. And Madden was
Oh,
like, I like that. I like that a lot. And then they took it and made it into a story, except it's not a very good story. Not at all. You go in and the only highlight moment is Dan Marino comes in, famous Dolphins quarterback, and he's like, "Let's play a game of football against each other," and you do that, and then you make the NFL.
a great story.
Yeah, and then that story was like, it's okay. At least Madden tried to do something new. I appreciate the effort. Madden 19 rolls along, and they've decided we're going to do another long shot story because the story was called Long Shot Mode, and we're going to include the same characters except that now they didn't make their big NFL break at the end of your last one.
Oh,
They're
it's an
struggling.
alternate. It's an alternate like universe, an alternate timeline.
No, it's the same timeline except all that effort you put into making yourself great in the franchise mode you get into after that. It's just like that didn't happen. That didn't happen. You just
This is
sucked. You just did
the
bad.
the darkest timeline
Right.
for Madden.
And that is that Madden game.
Yeah,
I didn't complete that franchise mode.
really.
I played like an hour's worth of it and put the game down, and I don't think I touched Madden 19 again.
Oh my God. Wait. You just played the story and then gave up on the entire game?
Well, because it gets into that larger point of I don't want to play Ultimate Team because I'm not going to pay money for good players, and you know, for a while there was a time where it's like my family's not really interested in playing Madden with me, so you know, I don't really want to just sit and play exhibition mode. So I'm just not interested in this one. And then
What was
I
so bad about the story that made you just stop?
I it was literally just that it was so boring. I sat there
Oh,
and I'd already been through all the tropes of what was expected from this long shot story, you know? So I just didn't want it. I didn't want it. I put it away. They didn't want it. Then Madden 20, they're like, okay, we've heard you. We've heard you. We're actually just going to have you be a college player, do well in college, you can get drafted. And I'm like, are we getting back to superstar mode where you come out of college and get drafted? Okay. Okay. I'm with it now. Um, and then that story was bad
Oh,
because
unfortunate.
literally all it is you out of high school, you're going to this team, you commit to it, and you get there to the college, and they're like, actually, the number one recruit in the country decided he's coming to our school, so you're playing backup. And then it gets to senior year, you're in the playoffs, and the main guy gets hurt. Shocker. And they're like, okay, this is your one chance. Go in there and prove yourself. And you're
And
just
you
like,
win the game.
right, you win the game, you make the team, you go into the NFL, big whoop, you know. But it was, they added college football, which was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's something a little nice.
Wait, when you say college football, like, do they even have college players in the game?
Um, well, that's the thing with college football players
Well,
is
that's
up
why I'm
until this
interested.
year they didn't have you couldn't put player likenesses in because these college players couldn't get paid revenue,
Right.
but they did put the college teams. So like you could play
Hmm.
for Nebraska or the Florida Gators or something like that.
Interesting.
And it was fun because it was new. It was something new to Madden.
Yeah.
And then Madden 21 comes in and presents you easily the worst story of the bunch. Because I'm going to break this down for you because, Evan, I know you have a writer's mind. Okay? You have a writer's mind and you'll want to critique this story and
Oh
write,
yeah.
write in, how you think it should go. So get this, right? You start out in high school and you come in as this recruited hockey player for the school who's going to play football because why not? You can play football. You're a big dude. You're athletic.
Wait, you start off as a hockey player?
Well, you're a high school hockey player, okay? Who's going to
Okay.
join the football team?
All right.
Dude,
Interesting
Evan, you're already
choice.
thinking too hard. Okay, this is Madden. Okay,
Okay. All right.
so you come in and the high school already has an established starter, and you walk in and the coach is like, "Oh, you wanna play quarterback, right?" And you're like, "Uh huh, I want to play quarterback." And the guy's like, the starter comes up and he's like, "Hey, this is my team. Don't step on me. This is my team. I'll step on you." He doesn't say that exactly, but it's the
Does
vibe.
he actually say he's gonna step on you though?
No, it's just kind
Oh,
of the vibe, you
that's
know.
disappointing.
Um, but you get to the locker room and you kind of find out that the starter has this heart defect, right? And you're like, oh, that's never going to come up. That's
You
never going to
say
come up.
heart defect as if like he has like a he can have a heart attack.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
god.
halfway through a game, he starts to have problems with his heart defect. So they're like, okay, well, you got to go in and play. So, you go in, you toss the pigskin around with the boys, you make time for the boys on the field, you know, and you win the game, or at least you're supposed to. And then it jumps to 2 years later, you're state champion, and the guy comes back from his heart surgery stuff, and he's like, I'm cleared to play, so can I be the starter now? And you have a choice to say, sure, you can have the team back, or no, this is my team now.
Oh, you can kick him in the dirt after his heart thing.
So I kicked him in the dirt.
Nice.
I mean, come on, it's my team now. I just won a state championship. What
Yeah.
do you
Hey, if
expect?
you want to be the starter, you better earn it, buddy.
So he's like, okay, I'll play wide receiver for you. And it's like, oh, well, I'm good. Cool. So you feed him the ball in games so that he can make a good college too. And then on National Signing Day, you pick your college, and he picks the same college, and you two hug, and he whispers in your ear, hey, I'm coming for your quarterback job.
Oh god.
Yeah.
So it's like a rival thing.
So you get there, and the coach is like, well, listen, you're both good, so I'm just going to rotate you out. Okay, you just got to rotate. And you're like, okay, whatever. Because how it actually works is that if you play well in the first half, you don't get subbed out. You play the whole game, and
Oh,
that
I
helps
see.
your draft stock. Well, what hurts the realism is the fact that because they have the story mode on a lower difficulty than the rest of the game for me, um, I go in and put up 70 points on the first team I play and 100 points on the second team I play because I'm good at Madden. Like, this is not something I'm proud to say, but it's a fact. I'm good at Madden.
Yeah, yeah. Not trying to
So,
flex, but
humble brags are kind of my thing. Um, but you go and do these great things, and then the next cutscene is, well, I'm starting the other guy. He's going to be our starter next season. So do you want to go
oh,
to the draft, or do you want to go play in the play as a different position? So you got to choose.
of course you're going to the draft. Screw that guy.
Well, that's the thing though. For in Madden's ideology, to get a better draft spot, you're supposed to say you'll stay on the team, shift positions, play a season like that, then go into the combine and be like, I actually want to be a quarterback, not what I just did for a season.
W-
The
Uh,
story's just bad. It's
yeah,
just a dumb
a bit
story.
confused. I'm not a Madden expert though, or football expert in general, so I'm probably
Listen,
just getting
I mean,
lost
you
easily.
can tell they brought in John Madden himself, frail and 90 years old and probably delusional, and they're like, "Here, write us a
They gotta.
beautiful football story." And he
They
puked
went.
on
They
paper, and they were like, "My God, this is the Mona Lisa itself."
they went to his retirement home. His family had been visiting him for one, the one time a
Yeah,
year they actually do. They bust in the room. The smile fades from John's face, and they're like, "You gotta write us a new story, John.
yeah.
Every year, time's up." He's like, "All right, fine." Shits on
So,
paper and gives it back.
I mean, the Madden games are just bad. I know they're bad. I shouldn't buy them.
But you do.
The only reason I have this one is because my family wanted to play franchise mode with me. So we're all in like a little family franchise mode, and we play it together. So it's we have it because it's a nice little family bonding thing.
Not good enough.
Not good enough. Not
It's
good
not
enough
good enough reason.
excuse.
No,
Yeah,
no. Listen.
you're
Your
sending the cops
family.
after me right now. I can hear the sirens coming.
I've already called the boys. They're coming
Yeah,
after you. Your
yeah.
family's not important enough.
I no longer get time made for me. I've disrespected the boys.
Looks like your time is up. Then you get nuked.
Yeah. So,
Hammer
God.
of Dawn. Hammer of Dawn comes down from space to kill you.
How did we get on Madden? We went from Mario to Madden. How did we
Because we
get there?
just yeah, that's an interesting question. Uh, but looks like we're out of time for the boys.
I do think we're out of time for the boys. It's sad, you know. It's sad that we're out of time for the boys, but I appreciate the boys making time for us.
Yeah,
Boys making time for boys. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I do indeed know what you're saying right now.
So you know what, boys? We'll be here. I think this is going to be a thing we're doing now. So why not make more time for the boys next week? Yeah. Yeah. Good job, Ev. That was proud of you. He's gone. Ev has disappeared.
Wait, what? Hello?
I can hear you now.
Oh, did I edit that out?
Yeah, you disappeared because exactly what happened was is I was like, yeah, so we'll make more time for the boys next week. Yeah, and then it was just silent. And I think I'm gonna leave that in.
Are you gonna put this in like as a blooper? It's just like, yeah,
Maybe.